The rest came from the Annenberg Trust. What's their interest in backing an Arab commentator? He wrote the commentator. He wrote the book about it. And yet another series was put on by an Englishman, Basil Davison, 3 times better than that one and more honest. Because knowing that he was white, every time he came to a critical part of the history, he found an African and put the African historian in front of the camera and let the African explain African history instead of he doing it. And I'm saying that the Englishman did a better job because the Englishman let the African explain instead of explaining himself. But Ali Mazrui is doing all of the explaining. All right. This talk is not about Ali Mazrui, but you have to understand something of what is happening to you. This is an Islamic whitewash. I hope you understand that. And the sad fact is that most of you and most people who saw it will not understand that this is what it is. And it is for a larger reason. And that reason is going to come out more and more. Now let's look at Africa on the eve of the rise of Islam. Religions rise and are created and grow in a vacuum. A condition has to be created for religions to rise. What was the vacuum? How did it create? Who created it? What was the condition in Africa and Western Asia, called the Middle East, on the eve of the rise of Islam? If Islam rose in the 600s AD, what was happening in the 600s AD? The Roman Empire was falling apart. The Roman Empire had been falling apart militarily since 450 AD. 450 AD, a bunch of German thugs called Vandals moved down and hit the Roman Empire. Now, the Romans had propaganda out that the Roman was invincible militarily. And a lot of people believed this. It's just that the Vandals didn't read the propaganda and couldn't read anyway. And they did not know that if you hit a Roman, you're supposed to fall dead. And see, they just went and hit those Romans in such a way that the Romans never recovered. And they added a word to the language: vandalism. Destroy everything. They warred on men because they had a wife and children, because they're too stable. They resented everything. Then they moved over to Spain and started a fight with the Visigoths, the Goths and the Visigoths. But only the people who read Roman propaganda continued to believe the nonsense. But the Romans would coach a long time. Now, they had already made a mess out of the management of Christianity, because now the fight between the Byzantines and the regular Romans continued. When the Romans, and if you understand what I'm saying right now, maybe you'll straighten out some current thing. When the Romans stopped killing Christians and became Christians, they wanted to take over the apparatus of Christianity from the Africans who were managing it while they were killing Christians. When the European takes over anything, he wants to control all of it, not a part